Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
Broadcasting from San Diego and throughout the neighborhoods you live. It's time for Race and Sports Radio. Your connection to the world of race and sports. So huddle up as Race and Sports Radio brings you all the up-to-the-minute race and sports news, interviews, major stake race analysis, and handicapping races coast to coast. We're live from San Diego. Now it's time to talk the bottom line. It's time to bring you Race and Sports Radio. Here's your host, Felix Taverna.
A very happy Sunday morning. Welcome aboard, live from San Diego. We welcome you no matter where you might be tuned in on this. You could be international for all we know. For the folks that we have met over the last 2 weeks from all over the world, you might be in Ireland, you might be in France, you might be in South Africa, you might be in Syracuse, New York. You could be anywhere across our globe, our country, and first and foremost, we say a great Veterans Weekend for all those who have served, paid the ultimate price for our freedoms on this Sunday morning, and we're happy that we're able to broadcast our information your way on this Sunday. Just a fantastic show scheduled for today. We have a number of different topics that we can discuss, all in the world of sports and horse racing. And now we go into our studio with my producer and my co-host of Race and Sports Radio, Tommy D. Saratoga. Tommy, at top of the morning, my friend.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good to be here, Felix. Yeah, great day yesterday at the track. Also, college football flipped upside down as usual. Also, I really think that we got another good day of pro football. I think football, college football, pro football, Felix, I think has just been upside down. I mean, you think you got a winner, and guess what? You're way off. And yeah, we'll talk about that today. We'll get Maddie B on and Bob Hutton and the captain and get the crew going. But yeah, some things to talk about from yesterday. And then today, we got some good horse racing. Del Mar yesterday. The Bob Hope had a price come in the winning one there, and prices all across the board yesterday at Del Mar. So
Victor Espinoza, Mr. Triple Crown, who rode that in the Bob Hope for Adam Kitchingman, will join us 9 o'clock. Victor and I had an opportunity to talk yesterday after that race. That's a nice 2-year-old, by the way, and we'll find out exactly what Victor thought prior to going into the race. Week number 10 of the NFL, we're waiting to make connection with Matty B and Bob Hutton. But I've been bombarded. I don't know if you have or not, Tommy D. But one thing that has ripped my earlobes over the last 12 hours has been that dead heat at Del Mar in race number 3 with a 50-1 on the outside, ridden by Martin Pedrosa. And I think Victor might have ridden the winner, or it might have been Evan Roman. I have a hard time with that guy's name, but I can't recall who was. It was Peter Miller was the 6 horse, and Martin Pedrosa was on the 8 horse, trained by Sean McCarthy, and we don't know where and how and why it took so long for them to put up the finish.
Oh, I got to tell you, Felix, I was very, very upset watching this yesterday as a horse player, as a bettor, and I had that long shot and it picked 3, and it didn't come through anyways for me in the next race. But still, I watched that race, and I've seen a lot of races. It looked like the 8 got it, and I don't care if it won, but why did it take so long to get the photo up? It shouldn't have took that long. I just don't like it. Too suspicious for me. Things out on Twitter. I know Andy Asaro, a few other people had things out on Twitter yesterday about this. And no, I don't like that. That's what I do not like about horse racing. And, they come up with an excuse about the technology. Come on, we're in 2017.
Here we are.
And it's at Del Mar, one of the nicest racetracks. We just had the Breeders' Cup here. That was just, I did not care for that yesterday. We need to fix that and make sure that photo gets out right away. We could have had time to go over and get a snack. You could have went to the bathroom. You could have did a bunch of things. It took about 8 minutes or so at least.
At least I was in a number of conversations down at Quigley's Corner. And people were yelling 6-8, what have you. You know, I had no dog in the fight. And so I was watching the replays, and a couple times when I looked at that, I know they showed it a number of times, but on the first couple times that I did view it, I thought the outside horse won. And, you know, I've always made this claim. Anybody who's followed our radio show going back to Vegas in 97 with the late Ken Daniels, the Thoroughbred Hotline, and Racing Sports Radio now, one thing that I've always said that I think could be an improvement in the game or in the industry is having a virtual line of knowing where the finish line is. In basketball, you have the basket. In football, you have the goal line. And, of course, in baseball, you have home plate. So you know that that is the final point of scoring. So you don't have that in horse racing. You just think, well, where does the line come up? Where did the line come up? And who got the head bob and what have you? And so not only are you trying to focus in on the horses, but you're also trying the horse's nose, because that's the most important part of the animal to get to the finish line. But in addition, you're trying to also simultaneously look at the finish line.
Oh, 100%. I don't know if you had the opportunity. I know you know a lot of the guys up there, Felix. If you had the chance to talk to Martin Pedrosa, because if not, he might be a guy to pick up, because he's ridden that Del Mar track so many times, and he was the one that was closing on that long shot. I'd be curious to see his thoughts on, you know, that finish and everything. And I know he's, you know, it's a bob, this, that, but the thing is, it took that long. I don't care if the 6-1. But it just took too long in my eyes. And, you know, to my eye watching it, yeah, it could have been a dead heat. But, you know, first look, I watched it multiple times. I did think the 8-1. And then for them to take that long to put it up, I just disagree with that. And I don't care for that. That's one thing that I do not like about betting and gambling.
All right, we got the phone lines lit up here on this Sunday morning. We welcome you getting, you know, just an incredible week. And I am sort of running on fumes, as you might be, with the Breeders' Cup taking a lot of our energy. And having a short week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday racing here. There is a carryover, I believe, in excess of $90,000 at Del Mar today. We'll talk about that the second hour. Victor Espinoza will join us here at 9 o'clock. But what a great day. I'm sorry, what did you just post up? Okay. So we move at 8:07, and Octopus, huh? You in the studio, Octopus. You're working one hand, you're picking up the phone with the other, and we'll get to it right away. Tommy D producing Racing Sports Radio live from the WS Radio Network. I just want to thank you for just a great friend that you are, Tommy D, and just a great job of working together. I rely on you a lot. Your opinion means everything to me. I listen to you. May it be good, bad, or indifferent. I might not always agree, but you know what? I always listen, and boy, you have given me a lot of good information. Matty B?
Matty B did. He has made it. He's here.
All right, Matty B. We go to Boston to kick it off. My man in Boston, are you thawed out back there in Beantown?
Yes, I am. It's a little bit warmer today. Just a little bit warmer. It almost feels hot. It almost feels like South Beach. It almost feels like the U here. Like the U is back, Felix. You feel that excitement, that heat when Miami football is back in college football, because yesterday that beat down one of the many beatdowns we saw yesterday, but that one the most impressive by far. The U is back.
I'm pretty surprised that you would start with that, man. You knowing that I'm a Catholic and I'm a Notre Dame fan, and you would start with that. Tommy and I were walking into the studio this morning, and all we could talk about is that I thought you had Georgia over Auburn when Tommy and I last week got a bet into the future book into Vegas for Auburn. We didn't tell anybody until after yesterday, because we thought after we leapfrogged over Georgia, everybody would know that we are Auburn Tiger fans. And what about that beatdown? Yeah, why wouldn't you start with that when you had Georgia?
Because I would go with the real upset. Auburn and Georgia, it's a rivalry. They
No, wait
know
a
each
minute.
other.
Wait
You never know what happens.
a minute.
What Miami
Hold
did
it. Cut him off. Cut him off.
after
Cut him off.
all
Hit him.
you
Hold
said-
on. 1 second. We just muted you, bro. The real upset. Nobody gave Auburn much of a chance against Georgia. You hyped Georgia like they were the greatest thing since sliced bread yesterday.
It was a 2-point spread. What do you mean they don't give them a chance?
Well, I didn't hear anybody say Auburn was going to win the game outright. Did you?
I heard plenty of people saying Auburn was going to win. I told you flat out that the 3 times that they have faced Georgia in the past as Georgia's number 1,
Tommy, put the
Auburn
blacks
won all
down.
3 times.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Now it's 4.
Yeah.
It's 4 times. When Georgia's number 1,
Yeah, you
don't
did-
face Auburn because Auburn's going to take you down.
You did say that. That quarterback from Auburn was good. Hey, listen, Miami and Notre Dame, Miami was never in the game. I mean, Notre Dame was never in the game. I mean, their quarterback.
It was 0 at the start.
Yeah. Okay. You want to be a wise guy at 8:11 on a Sunday morning? We'll just go ahead and say goodbye to you right now. What about the Alabama-Mississippi State game? That was a brawl.
Yeah, it was. Captain called that one perfectly with Mississippi State covering the 2-touchdown spread. They put. I thought it'd be a tough fought game at halftime, and I thought in the second half Alabama would just show their dominance, show why they are the best team in college football this year, and they didn't. Mississippi State hung with them from end to end. 25 seconds left in the game, and that's when you blow it. That's just heartbreaking there for Stark Vegas and Mississippi State, but they fought them tough. They should have a lot of pride in that one because that's a very good football team that they just barely lost to.
Matty B, that's Moonlight Matty B in Boston. Tommy D inside the studio. The captain is online. We're going to get to him momentarily. Matty B, I want to ask you a question, my friend. If Alabama would have lost to Mississippi State and Georgia already lost earlier in the day, that committee would have been soul-searching. Who would have been the top 4 teams that would have qualified?
Let's see. If 1, 2, and 3 all would have lost, you would have had Clemson jump to actually, you know what? I think Oklahoma might have jumped to 1, Clemson to 2. I bet you Bama stayed at 3 because it'd be their first loss. It'd be not that bad of a loss. The Auburn beating Georgia beat down is way worse for Georgia than if Alabama would have lost by the skin of their teeth to Mississippi State or lost in overtime. I bet Alabama would have still been in the top 4. But Clemson would have been up there for sure. They're already going to be there. I think Oklahoma makes that jump. And maybe Wisconsin makes that jump, but I think Miami would have gotten it instead.
Hey,
so it would have been really close for these 4 and 5.
Yeah, I agree with you. I got a little bit disturbed yesterday. Not disturbed, distracted is what I want to say. Well, what happened in the final? What was the final score of that Clemson-Florida State game?
31-14. A lot. It was a closer game than that. It was 17-14 before Clemson got an interception on Florida State to really put this game away.
Yeah, that's when I lost track to that game. A lot of action yesterday. Michigan State really showed their A game, huh, Tommy D?
Oh, Matty B, I'm sorry there, buddy. Michigan State did not look good against Ohio State, but Ohio State was trying to come back off a big loss. But yeah, a couple teams that also I liked Oklahoma looks to be the real deal against TCU. We also talked about Wisconsin. Wisconsin, a solid football team, beating Iowa. Just solid football on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. They know how to control the ball, so Wisconsin's one to watch out for. I know the Big Ten's not the strongest at times, but yeah. And then how about Clemson? You guys talking about Clemson? I know Syracuse lost yesterday to Wake Forest, but Syracuse did beat Clemson.
Go back. Did you watch that game, that Syracuse-Wake Forest game, Tommy?
Oh, geez, it was. I saw a halftime score, and I was like,
43-40 Syracuse.
I know.
In the fourth.
I was like,
and then you lose by a blowout. How do you lose in a blowout when you're up 3 in the fourth?
I think they fell asleep. I don't know what happened there.
64 points you gave up.
Yeah, brutal. That was brutal. I got to tell you, and the Carrier Dome definitely got deflated there.
I thought it was a basketball score when I saw it. I really did.
I thought so too. I was like, oh wow, they played him in basketball and football yesterday.
I mean, like, it was unbelievable. And there's no D in the Big 12. Let's go out to the captain at 8:14 on a Sunday morning live from San Diego. This is Racing Sports Radio, along with Tommy D, Matty B, the captain, joining us live from America's finest city. Big Cap, what's going on?
How you doing, guys? Had a morning jacuzzi this morning. Gave me a whole different attitude on life because I was just ill about that third race yesterday at Del Mar. Just when you think Del Mar Racetrack has turned the corner with the Breeders' Cup and such a positive thing, leave it to the stewards to take us back down and realize what kind of shape California horse racing is in. Over 12 minutes it took for this tragedy to happen. This reminds me of Gansett Park back east, or Agua Caliente back in the day. These photos were modified. I'm looking at two pictures right now where a leg's in the front and a leg's in the back, and it's the same pictures. It's just unbelievable. The 8 won the race clearly, and I do not see how they did this. It's unbelievable, and I'm just beside myself.
All right. Other than that, how you feeling?
I feel great.
Okay.
I went 2 and 4 yesterday. I've got 6 solid plays today. Solid plays. There's Jets Tampa Bay. Both starting tackles are out for Tampa Bay. Both starting defensive tackles are out for Tampa Bay. Minnesota versus Washington. The whole offensive Washington line is questionable for today's game,
and they're decimated. You cannot even go near that game. Washington, since that Monday night game against the Kansas City Chiefs, they have been banged up. So it's an X factor. I have the opportunity to sit and chat with former San Diego Charger head coach Norv Turner, who was the offensive coordinator last year with the Minnesota Vikings, and we talked about NFL teams and how they prepare and how they match up and what have you. So I mentioned to them, because my friend Sean Turner is a Baltimore Raven and a Washington Redskin fan, and I mentioned to him that I liked the Redskins before they got banged up, and Norv said exactly what you just mentioned, Captain, that the whole offensive line is decimated. So it's a very slippery slope to be able to wager on the Redskins here. You talked a little bit about this photo finish. Matty B has no idea. Maybe our radio audience has no idea. But their third race yesterday, there was an even money horse and a 50-1 shot, and they came down to the line, and it was pretty close. And obviously it was pretty close, but it was closer than close could be. There was a photo finish, and we were waiting for the results, and it took a long period of time to be posted, to tell you the truth. Andy Asaro, my friend, has been on Twitter, and a lot of folks have texted me right after that race. I didn't have any dog in the fight, as I mentioned on the top of the broadcast, so I really don't know. But we'll talk about that at 9 o'clock. I want to talk a little bit about... What am I going to talk about now, Tommy D? You have anything to bail me out of this? Because
I'll tell you something about Jacksonville against the Chargers today. Jacksonville looks golden today because now you have Phillip Rivers going back east in a 10 o'clock game playing Jacksonville, which has got to be one of the best defenses in the league. Chargers are in big trouble today.
All right.
It's funny, when I looked at the lines today, I swear I thought it was the L.A. Clippers. I forgot it was the Chargers. It's bad. I know it's bad to say. I looked at it and I thought the Clippers. It was bad.
Every time I see LAC,
I swear, today I did that.
Every time.
Yep.
Speaking of LA, hey, Felix.
Yes?
Who's the youngest player in NBA history with a triple-double?
Who's the youngest player in
Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo Ball, baby.
Lonzo Ball. Still can't get a win, and his shot's still ugly as hell, but... hey, he's setting some records a little bit as a rookie. He ain't going to win Rookie of the Year, though.
Well,
that'll be Ben Simmons.
I'm really serious about this. Years ago, I had an opportunity to do a little piece around Magic Johnson, and I was sharing with some friends that, being associated in a small part with the Lakers, with the late Dr. Jerry Buss and Frank Mariani, who's like my second father, I want to reach out to Magic Johnson because I see the flaw in Lonzo Ball's shot. And people look at me like, like you're crazy. Well, I'm a pretty good shooter, and I've always been a good shooter in basketball. And I see a flaw, and I can't get over the fact that, huh?
A flaw?
A flaw.
One flaw. You only see one flaw in Lonzo Ball's shot?
Well, actually, there's two flaws, to tell you the truth.
There's a couple.
No, there's not. There's not. Let me tell you. When you look at Kyrie Irving shoot, look at Steph Curry shoot, then watch Lonzo Ball shoot, and if you just see the differences of how he sets the ball, it's completely different.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And there's no rotation. There's no rotation on his ball. But I want to tell you, no pun intended. But the bottom line is that he's going to be a good player because he's 6'6". He runs the court very well. And soon they get LeBron and Paul George around him. Watch it out, okay? Because that's definitely going to happen. But the NBA, what I'm really impressed, just skipping over to the NBA, and for no reason other than the fact that I want to say this, is that who I'm really impressed is with your boys back there in Boston. Boston Celtics, Brad Stevens, may you dislike, or whatever. I just love this coach. When you lose Gordon Hayward in the opening night, and then you reel off 10 wins in a row, and then Kyrie Irving's hurt, and he got a facial injury, which has really been a testimony to how good of a coach Brad Stevens really is with the Boston Celtics. But let's get back to football because I don't want to jump around. We got week number 10 today. I don't know about the lineup itself. I'm looking at maybe one or two games. Bob Hutton going to be joining us here. But one thing that I want to shout out, and I want to talk to both you and the captain and Tommy, is that I get really upset when I look at the Big 12 and I see scores like 49-42, 59-47. Is it like a prerequisite not to play defense in that conference, Matty B?
It seems like that in college football in general, but absolutely in the Big 12 where you're just going to get a whole bunch of high-powered offense. And, Oklahoma has it in spades with the terrible defense to boot. Oklahoma State as well, surviving at Iowa State in a ridiculously high-scoring game, like you said, 49-42. That's, you score a lot of points, you're generally going to win a lot of football games. But what's that saying? Defense wins championships. When was the last time a Big 12 team was the NCAA champion in football?
The last time a Big 12 team would have probably be mid-'90s with Oklahoma.
I would think so, right?
Yeah,
I don't think they've done it
so.
in the 2000s. They've been involved in the game, but they got their handed to them by USC in the Orange Bowl, by LSU. They can't win the big one because defense is lacking.
Matty B, a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I brought the Auburn quarterback's name. His name is Strickland, correct?
Stidham.
Boy, I'll tell you, he has developed into this Auburn Tiger team is the best team in the country, believe it or not. I think they could beat Alabama. I really do. Alabama, I want to tell you another thing about Alabama, and I want to just say this. The SEC is murderous week after week after week. You got to give these kids a lot of credit. I tip my hat to any player that plays in the SEC because that's like playing in the NFL week after week. When you have to go to Starksville or you have to go to Tuscaloosa or if you have to go to Athens or whatever week by week and you're playing LSU, Baton Rouge, and you go into those hostile environments, more so than any other conference, I think you would agree that you got to give these kids their due credit because, to have that mental edge. Right, Tommy D?
Yeah, definitely. The SEC is definitely, I agree with you, the best conference in football. And I think it's going to prove at the end of the year when it comes to that big game. I think one of the SEC teams is the team that wins a national championship. If you look at the teams, even if LSU way on the bottom, they're 24 ranked. Their program is always the top of the game too. Georgia, the best defense, and we saw Auburn just go through them yesterday. So, and then Alabama and Mississippi State, yeah, definitely the best conference this year. and unbelievable. I think it's going to be a dogfight, and I'm interested to see who comes out as the champs.
Let's go back out to the captain. Captain, who were your plays yesterday? I know that you liked Mississippi. That was one of your key plays.
Well, I like Mississippi State. I had Clemson. Those were my two winners. My losers yesterday was Notre Dame. But once again, when I handicap, I'm handicapping for no turnovers. I'm handicapping. I want the best team at the fair price. I look for the advantage. When the turnovers come in, Notre Dame just got boat raced. I'm remiss by saying that Miami's not a quality team. They do have a dynamic.
You know what, Cap? You know what? I'm with you. I'm with you, and I wouldn't go ahead and sort of bronze Miami yet. One thing a smart handicapper in Vegas told me many years ago, that no matter all the numbers you crunch and what you do and how you perceive and get to the final destination of making a selection on a team, laying the points or taking the points, one thing that you cannot handicap are turnovers. And turnovers plague Notre Dame, and they'll plague every other team. Notre Dame just did not look sharp at all. They looked from the start. They looked like they were scared of Miami, and maybe they were, because that quarterback did not perform, and maybe he wasn't as good. Maybe, strength of schedule. We have Hut coming up here talking about strengths of schedules, we talk about that. Miami didn't show us very much in the weeks coming up to the game. What do you mean,
Hold on.
You just held Josh Adams to 40 yards on 16 carries, a Heisman candidate running back. You shut him down. That defense shut down Wimbush.
That's why, hey, dude.
That's the defense of a championship-level defense.
Dude, cut him off, right? Please. I mean, Miami was all out to beat a hapless Florida State team. Florida State could be the worst preseason top 5 pick in the history of college football. And you're telling me that Miami's the giant killers? Back after this with Matty B.
Your Toyota dealers got what it takes for you to enjoy summer at the Summer Drive Sales Event. Get huge factory cashback savings on a wide selection, like $2,000 cashback on a new Prius Liftback, Prius C, or Prius V. $3,000 on a new Camry, Camry Hybrid, or Sienna. There's even $3,500 cash back on a new Avalon or Avalon Hybrid. At Toyota's Summer Drive Sales Event, we've got what it takes. Must take delivery from 2017 new car dealer stock by midnight, July 31st.
When you buy or lease any new Toyota, you get Toyota Care, our no-cost maintenance plan. Toyota Care covers normal factory scheduled service for 2 years or 25,000 miles, whichever comes first. There's even lockout protection and 24-hour roadside assistance. See your Toyota dealer for details and exclusions. Valid only in the continental U.S. and Alaska.
We've got what it takes, San Diego.
Toyota, let's go places.
Some unexpected expenses left me short on cash, and now I've got bills that are past due. Can you loan me $5,000 to get through this?
No worries. LoanMe can loan you from $2,600 to $100,000 and have your loan processed with the money in your bank account in as little as 4 hours. So call 8445-LOAN-ME, and LoanMe can loan you the money you need with no collateral, because we trust you even if you've had credit problems. And if you borrow and change your mind, no worries. Just return the money within 7 days and you won't pay any interest or fees. It's like a money-back guarantee. So why wait? Call 8445-LOAN-ME for the money you need for a few days or a few years. That's 8445-LOAN-ME.
Thanks, LoanMe.
Minimum loan amount $2,600. Visit the LoanMe website or call 8445-LOAN-ME for complete disclosure of APRs, fees, and terms. Loan approval and terms subject to credit standards. Loans made pursuant to California Department of Business Oversight Finance Lender License 603K061.
Call 8445-LOAN-ME or log on to loanme.com.
Catch all of the action at Strider's Sports Bar and Lounge, located downtown San Diego, directly across from the San Diego Convention Center at 1000 West Harbor Drive. You can watch and wager on all the racing action from all the major tracks, thoroughbreds, quarters, harness, from one of their many large screen TVs, or catch college, NFL, NCAA, and NBA basketball all the way through the playoffs and championships. Or just have one of your favorite cold beverages and order some of their great food and appetizers that make Strider's a top shelf choice. Strider's is located at 1000 Harbor Drive, and it's a split-level venue. It allows you to sit where you choose to follow your favorite team, game, or racetrack. So go for it. Catch all the action at Strider's Sports Bar and Lounge, located downtown San Diego.
Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
It's time to head back into the Race and Sports Radio broadcast right here over the WS Radio Network.
All right, welcome back, listeners. We are back here on this Sunday morning.
Got my mic on? Yes, sir, baby. Is Hut on yet? Hook him up. Hook him up. So a big day today, week number 10 of the NFL, as we move forward. Tom, your mic is live inside the studio. We'll get... There we go. Thank you, my man. All righty. So we take a look at week number 10. Captain, are you there? Matty B still there? Matty B,
I'm here.
All right, brother. What is your game, Matty B, today?
Oh, you're going to make me get off this Miami thing right now, but all right, fine. I'll get off this Miami thing right now. We're coming back to this one, though. I'm looking to see Pride, Detroit Lion Roar Pride. You got the worst team in football coming into town. You are a 10.5-point favorite. I want to see you cover. I don't want to see a close game against the hapless Cleveland Browns. You want to say you're real and that you're a playoff contender and not a pretender? Then you beat down this Browns team today with your offense and a little bit of your defense. I want to see the Lions play with some pride and come in and beat up a team that they are supposed to beat up and not play a close football game against a team you are clearly better than.
So what's the line?
The line's 10.5 right now.
You think they can cover that 10.5?
I think they have the offense too. If it clicks, if what they were doing last week against Green Bay, they do again. They come out and play with that kind of intensity. Green Bay is not a good football team without Aaron Rodgers. We all know that. But the Lions made sure that they were going to beat down this team when they should have, even though it was their only second win ever in Green Bay since 1991. All that crap doesn't matter. Aaron Rodgers wasn't there. But you're supposed to beat up that team right now, and they did. I want to see it again at home against Cleveland.
You got a pencil?
No, I got a smartphone. Why?
Just answer the question. Do you have a pencil?
I'm sure somewhere.
All right. You got a piece of paper?
Yeah, somewhere.
All right. Vikings travel to Washington. The Vikings are a 1-point favorite to total 41 in week number 10. Green Bay travels to Chicago. The Bears are a 4-point favorite in 37.5. Pittsburgh travels to Indianapolis. The Steelers are 10 in 46.5. The Chargers visit Jacksonville, and the Chargers are a 5-point underdog. Jacksonville, 5-point favorite in 40.5. The Jets and the Buccaneers, this is a pick. 44 is the number. The Bengals travel to Tennessee, and Tennessee's 4.5 and 40.5. New Orleans, a very, very strong showing after starting off 0-2, travels to Buffalo. The Saints are 2.5 and 48. The Browns and the Lions, as mentioned, the Lions are 10.5-point favorite. The Texans and the Rams are 12 and 45.5. Dallas travels to Atlanta, and the Atlanta Falcons are 3.5 and 48.5. The Giants and the 49ers. The Giants travel to San Francisco. They are a 3-point favorite in 41.5. And New England travels to the Mile High City for the 5:30 game tonight. New England, 7 and 45. Anything jump off the page, Tommy D?
I like the Jets. I know Captain talked about that earlier, but I do like the Jets. Buccaneers are all beat up. Jets are playing, they're trying to compete in the AFC East. It's still pretty wide open. The quarterback's out too, so I like the Jets today. I also thought the Titans, possibly. The Bengals are kind of, Jekyll and Hyde, who's going to show up, and I think the Titans are playing consistent. They're 3-1 at home. Those are the two teams that I really like. But you know what, truly, but you like the Bengals.
I like both the other sides.
You like the Bengals and the Buccaneers.
I'm a glutton for punishment because I've been waiting for the whole season for the Buccaneers to wake up.
You know what? You might be waiting all season, Felix, too.
Waiting in vain. You waiting on the Bucs and the Bengals to wake up. You waiting in vain.
Man, all of a sudden, what'd you do? You get 10 hours sleep last night, Matty B? Because you're real sharp today.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Actually, the Saints and the Bills should be this game of the week. You got two teams that are surprising a lot of teams in football this year. The Bills being 5-3, the Saints at 6-2. This should be an interesting game because generally the Saints don't play well outdoors in bad weather.
Oh,
when the weather's not that bad in Buffalo, it's only about 35 degrees and overcasty. So there's no rain. There's no reason for Drew Brees' passes to be going haywire. And the offense that the Saints have, the schemes that the Saints run, should cause problems for that Buffalo defense. A Buffalo defense that looked horrendous last week on Thursday Night Football against the Jets. The Saints have a lot to play for here because that NFC South is still a tight battle outside of the Buccaneers. So they need to win every game they can. And this is a winnable game, but this is a tough game. The Bills are not a bad team.
So the Panthers are just one game behind, correct?
Yes.
And so the Saints
and they got Monday Night Football against Miami.
Yeah.
How they not flex that one out, I don't know.
Dolphins getting a lot of airtime, huh? How about those Dolphins?
Yeah, for a terrible.
Carolina and Miami. You got to be kidding me. How do you not flex that game out?
Wonder the ratings have gone down. You got
Miami's 4-4. Give us a little bit of break. Come on. Last year we made the playoffs for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
Come on, give us a little bit of slack. We've been awful since Marino.
Sit there and smoke a cigarette on the sideline while he gets beat down by Cam Newton.
You were one and done. The Steelers put you out as fast as you came in.
What was that? Was the line coach from the Dolphins too, or who was that from? Was he on the Dolphins? Was that the line coach from the Dolphins
who snorted the lines and then videotaped it to a stripper girlfriend?
Literally.
Yeah, that was he gave a new definition for a line coach.
I like that. I just wanted to hear that joke again. All right, let's keep
Jay
going.
Cutler and in the Miami, and then they traded to your Philadelphia Eagles. What was the name of the running back? Ajay?
Ajayi. How do you say it, Matty B? I always have
Jay Ajayi.
Jay Ajayi.
See, that's what I like about Matty B. Like he is the Google and he is the glossary and the autocorrect. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, definitely. Matty B.
What's his name again?
Matty B is our sports wizard here.
What's his name?
First name Jay, last name Ajayi.
Ajayi. All righty. So, with that being said, traded to the Philadelphia Eagles, that should put the Eagles as the premium team in the NFC, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, everybody else is running for second. I mean, there's a lot of question marks, and injuries play an important part. All right. So, the AFC, who are the strong teams in the AFC? New England.
Your usual suspects.
Pittsburgh.
Yep.
All right. Who else?
That's about it.
So there's three teams.
Two teams. Pittsburgh and New England.
Three
AFC.
Three teams total. NFC, Philadelphia.
No, you know what, though? Because the Rams are playing some really good football right now as well on the NFC side. So you got to give them credit. They've got one of the best running backs in football in Todd Gurley. Jared Goff is playing, not as well as Carson Wentz, but right behind him as far as second-year quarterbacks are concerned. And they've got a legit defense as well. So, you got to put the Rams up there because, they're 6-2, one game back from where Philadelphia is, and they've got a nice complement of young pieces as well.
Yeah, you're right.
They're gonna be here for a while, just like Philly, I think.
What about the Seahawks, guys? What about the Seahawks?
Forget about the Seahawks.
And about the Cowboys.
Forget about the Cowboys.
Both, I'm just saying.
The Cowboys losing Ezekiel Elliott really hurts. You need
Forget
Dak
about
Prescott to play otherworldly.
All right, I just had to ask because, they both have it. And what about the Saints?
Seattle?
Saints?
Seattle, with Sherman going down, going to be a real big hole to fill. I think you would agree with that, Matty B and Tommy D.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's the best. He's the best in this position, and he's been that way for many years. So yeah, that's definitely going to hurt the D.
We talk about this gingerly, but it's real seriously that you can make claims of teams, but if they lose one or two players due to injury, then that changes their mojo, and that changes their whole momentum. Is Bob Hutton on the line?
No, Captain's back.
All right, get Captain back on. Captain, you've been riding the Rams lately. They've been pretty impressive.
Well, you're talking about a team that's averaging over 30 points on the year, and they're going against a Texas team with Tom Savage at quarterback. This guy's just flat out brutal. And LA Rams at home. I got them -11, -126 on 5 dimes. I like using 5 dimes because you have a variable line there. You just have to give a little bit more on the juice. But Rams are one of my afternoon plays today. I really like them, and Denver. I mean, you're going in with Brock Osweiler. New England -6.5, -120. I mean, Denver's got a defense, but they gave up 51 points last week. So the word is that Denver, their team, that feng shui is gone. They've given up because they don't have a leader. Your leader of the team, is your quarterback, and Brock Osweiler, Patton Lynch, Trevor Siemian. There's no leaders there. There's no guys that you can say, that's an A-type personality. I got his back. There's nobody like that there. They don't have the talent right now to hold up anywhere. This is a really bad team right now.
I will just keep it going. You're right. Denver's in a lot of trouble, and I agree. That's Peyton, the quarterback from Memphis. That what's his name? Peyton. You just mentioned his last name.
Peyton Lynch. He was injured, and they don't think he's the ticket either. So they're in deep trouble. And like I say, don't be surprised if you see Jacoby Brissett being traded to Denver for a second-round pick at the end of the year.
He was just traded this year to the Indianapolis Colts from the New England Patriots.
Well, right now, Andrew Luck's in Europe doing treatment on getting treatment done.
Yeah,
and Jacoby Brissett, this is the best thing that could ever happen to this kid because now he's got a forum to show his talents, and they're saving Andrew Luck for next year because what they're going to do, they have a ton of money saved up. They're going to get a brand new offensive line for this guy, and he'll be like Tom Brady, getting the ball out so he doesn't get hit.
Matty B, what about Eli Manning coming to Denver?
It doesn't matter right now. Denver needs a whole new situation. They bet on youth, and that bet has so far failed. They got rid of defensive leaders. Captain talking about leaders, and now your quarterback's a leader. Well, you also have defensive leaders, and Denver had them in spades, and they got rid of almost all of them, especially in the secondary, bringing in youthful guys, going for that young talent, and the young talent is not living up to it right now. Eli Manning, you look at what he's had to deal with this year, not a good football team with the Giants. I don't know what he's going to be doing going to Denver as well. They don't really have a good football team around him either. The running game isn't much of anything right now. The passing game isn't much of anything, and that defense is horrendous. I understand Philadelphia's a good team, but damn, you give up 51 points, you're supposed to be one of the better defenses in football? Yeah, I don't think so.
What's the record of the Giants right now?
They are 1-7 going into San Francisco to play the 0-9 Niners.
Wow, I can't wait for that kickoff.
Oof. That's the NFL Fox game of the week, right? No, that'd be the Cowboys and the Falcons.
Wow, man.
Probably should talk about, because you get the Falcons who need to find a way to bounce back, and the Cowboys without Ezekiel Elliott. The suspension is going on at least for 4 weeks, because that's how long it's going to be until the appeal is even heard. So at least 4 of those 6 games in the suspension are going to be held because he can't get over hearing until 4 weeks from now.
OVER.
Yeah.
Over. That game is going over. This Dallas team, Matty, without Ezekiel Elliott, it's all going to rest on Dak. Dak Prescott, and you're going to see him run for the most times he has all year today because he's going to be his option quarterback. You're going to see him do a lot of play action, and don't be surprised if he runs this ball off the play action at least 5 or 6 times, plus his scrambles. This game's going over because both teams have to pass the ball. Atlanta's got to get that feng shui back. That's another team that's lost its aura.
Wait. I'm going to ask you a question, Matty B.
Mm-hmm.
What was the Giants' record last year?
9-7.
They were 11-5. No, they were
11-5.
They were 11-5. Okay, how does a team go from 11-5 to 1-100?
Injuries.
Yeah, I mean, big injuries in the wide receiver position. You know, they didn't have Beckham to start, and they never got any kind of rhythm. They never got any kind of cohesiveness as a team this year. And then the injuries hit even worse, and it just snowballed.
And running
defense is good, but not great. The running game has been missing for a very, very long time since Brandon Jacobs was running back there. They just haven't had a running game to help Eli Manning. And Eli Manning, you know what he is. He's a quarterback that's going to get you a bunch of touchdowns, but he's also going to get you a bunch of turnovers. He's going to take those shots. He's going to take those risks. He's not afraid to, and that's something to commend him on. But at the same time, he's thrown a lot of interceptions in his career, and when you don't have a running game and you're depending all on your defense, you're not going to have a good season.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm kind of shocked about, guys, is that the Giants didn't go after Calvin Benjamin from Carolina. If a team needed a wide receiver, I know Buffalo, the 30th ranked passing team, but if I know that Calvin Benjamin's available, I'm making a move. I'm making some kind of move to get him on my team.
I think the Giants have waved the white flag, personally. I think they've seen this season is a no-go. And why waste it on a guy you're only going to have for part of the year? Because they're not going to re-sign Benjamin next year. The Bills actually have a shot to make the playoffs. They need help in the passing game. I mean, it makes sense to me. And if I was Calvin Benjamin, I'm glad I'm not going to the New York Giants because that's a bad football team.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir. Tommy D.
Put your Steelers there, Felix. They're going to beat up on these Colts, double-digit favorites.
Yeah.
On the road, don't do it.
On the road, in a dome.
Do it. I'm staying away from the game, but don't go there.
Come on. They need a beat down.
You look at the overall percentages of an NFL team, not a college, NFL team, with a double-digit favorite on the road, going away. Oh, no.
Aren't the Colts one of the worst teams in football at stopping the run? And don't the Steelers have Le'Veon Bell to go along into part of those three Bs with Ben, Bell, and Brown? And Juju Smith-Schuster from USC, who had a standout game 2 weeks ago. Aren't they coming up a bye week also, so they're all ready to go, and Ben's done with his turnovers, and he's going to throw for 350 and 4 touchdowns, and Le'Veon's going to go for $185 and 2 or 3 touchdowns?
They're not at home. He's a different quarterback away.
It's inside
he's
a dome.
Inside, he's not outside. Okay? It's a big difference. He is a bad weather quarterback. He's not a good weather quarterback, and he's not a good weather quarterback away. So if you put a gun to my head, I'm going to take the 10.5 points minus 115.
Felix, if you're the Steelers and you're trying to make a statement that you're one of the best teams in football, you need to win this game by double digits. You need to cover this spread. You can't win this game by 6 or 7.
It's a backdoor cover.
I don't trust any game on this except 2. I mean, there's only 2 games that I trust today of this whole card.
So, Captain, we got 3 double-digit favorites in this week. You got the Rams at home by 12.5 over the Texans. You got the Steelers by 10 over the Colts, and you got the Lions at home by 10.5 over the Browns.
The Browns are a brutal team. And you know what? We were just talking about leaders. Like I said a couple weeks ago, they lost both their leaders, and it was Joe Thomas, the tackle, and Joe Hayden, the all-pro cornerback that's with the Steelers now. I mean, they lost, and they have a rookie quarterback, Deshaun Kaiser. This team is another team. No feng shui. It's gone. You're looking at the bottom of the list. Okay. You're looking at Denver. You're looking at with the team we're just talking about now.
Well, wouldn't we say the same thing about the Colts? No feng shui, no leadership. Who's their leader? They don't have a leader.
Listen, at least they put up points. At least they put up points. These other teams don't have a shot at putting up any points. What about Green Bay? They're AD. They're all done. All done.
Never thought I'd see the Bears favored in a game this year against the Green Bay Packers.
Bears aren't that bad of a football team.
I like Trubisky. To give this kid a little time. He's not a Peyton Lynch. He's not a Trevor Siemian. He's not a Brock Osweiler. This guy's actually got a little game. Plus, he's mobile, and he's got the backing of the city, which none of these teams have the backing of the city. They want to see this guy do well.
What's that again?
They want to see this guy Trubisky do well with Chicago.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they traded up to get him, and basically they made a statement.
They got rid of Cutler. All Jay Cutler is an updated version of Jeff George. Great arm, but nothing between the head, nothing in the head. He's a mental midget.
Mental midget.
Yeah, and we got him on the Dolphins now, so we were happy to pull him off there. So
Go get him.
Yeah, so I agree with you about Cutler. I just don't like his poor attitude over the time. He does have a great arm, and the talent is there. He just can't put it together. I feel.
Tommy, here's what you do. You just go down the street there in Miami to the U, give them the Dolphins uniforms and say, hey, go play on Monday night for us.
Yeah, pretty cool. How about those gold chains that they had out for the pick sixes? I thought that was pretty interesting. The U necklaces.
That was quite gangster, by the way.
The turnover chain. Turnover chain.
Hey, that's going to be recruitment. I guarantee people want to go there to wear that U necklace. I swear. I know it's crazy, but that's marketing.
You know what, Tommy? I agree. That's brilliant marketing because you know what? You get a defensive turnover, you get one of those gold chains. I love that.
It makes it more. I know it's
on
not
the sideline there rocking his own
old school, but this could be maybe the new part of sports.
I swear to God, and I never heard Matty B talk about Miami U all season long until this morning.
No, I was talking about them last week.
No, you weren't.
I picked them to beat Virginia Tech. Yes, I did. Picked them to cover.
Oh yeah.
Let me go through my notes. He is right. He's right. He got to you.
All right. Well, we got you on tape for that. So everything you say is documented.
Hey, Felix, if I could interject one thing, it's what we were talking about with San Diego State when they were 6-0, and then they played Fresno State. Well, same thing happened here. Miami took Notre Dame completely out of their game plan. And when you don't have an A-rated quarterback,
right,
and when you rely on your defensive turnovers and your running game, and you get all that taken away, then you're lost. And that's what we just saw, the underbelly of Notre Dame.
And Miami's
taking away 4 straight games with at least 4 turnovers by that Miami defense. 4 games in a row with 4 takeaways or more by that Miami defense.
I can coach Miami with getting 4 turnovers a game.
Me too.
Makes it easy to go 4-0 in those 4 games. Tell you that.
They haven't beaten anybody.
No, they beat Virginia. They haven't beaten anybody. And you want UCF to be in the college football playoff? Okay.
They're still undefeated, aren't they?
Yeah. So is Miami. Are they not?
Yeah, but I mean, Miami. Who did they beat?
Virginia Tech last week.
All right.
Beat them up badly.
Prior
Notre
to that,
Dame, number 3 team in the country yesterday, embarrassed them. Second worst loss in the Catholics versus convicts history. Besides that infamous 53-7 by Miami in 1985.
Oh, you're giving me a headache, Matty B.
That's what I do. So you pay me so well for.
Hey, you know what? Let me tell you something, okay? It is your privilege to go ahead and have your voice heard across the country, worldwide, talking what you know best.
And Wade, I thank you for that.
And absolutely, I must tell you, as a friend, that you are a homer. Michigan State, Arizona in basketball. Why aren't you talking about the great performance that your Spartans showed yesterday against Ohio State? Nothing
because
said.
There was not one. They came in and got their butt handed to them by a very angry Ohio State team, a team coming off a 30-point embarrassment against Iowa. Iowa, who is not that good of a football team, and they kind of showed that yesterday against Wisconsin. That offense can be very anemic at times, but they weren't last week. Ohio State came in pissed off, knowing they still control their own destiny as far as the Big Ten East is concerned, and they took it to Michigan State all day long. J.T. Barrett reminding everyone why he should be in the Heisman conversation. Early in the game, he's 9 for 12 with 4 touchdown passes. 9 for 12.
Yep.
And
so
4
much for
of them
that
were
Michigan.
touchdowns.
So much for that Michigan State defense that you've been.
Hey, you're talking about one of the, if not the youngest team in all of college football, with 36 freshmen on the roster, 12 of them as starters. It's a young football team of freshmen and sophomores. They'll be back. They'll be fine. It's all about how you bounce back. And look at Auburn. Ugly, giving up all those points and losing to LSU. What have they done since? They bounced back. It's all about how you respond. That's what D'Antonio's got to get this squad to do, and he's got time to do it. They still have a very good year in front of them, but it was a bad beat yesterday, that's for sure.
The Big Ten is a sub-conference, bro. It's not a Power 5 conference. All right?
Oh, get out of here. You're sitting there touting up the SEC when you got teams like Tennessee and Missouri and Vanderbilt and Ole Miss, these crap football teams that are awful. Florida, my God, 3 wins on the year. Oh, my God, the SEC. No, there's some really good teams, but there's also some really bad teams, just like every other conference in football.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The team that got the most benefit from yesterday's play was Wisconsin. because they beat a number 20 team, and then all these teams in front of them lost. So Wisconsin's in a great position to try at the end of the year with all the playoffs and everything, the championship games in between the conferences, to move up in that golden number 4 spot.
Well, Captain, let me ask you this. Yesterday we were talking about the SEC might have 2 teams in it. What if the ACC, what if Miami and Clemson, neither one loses the rest of the way, and they have a knockdown, drag-out, fantastic fight that Miami is leading with a minute and a half to go, and Clemson comes down and kicks a field goal to win the game? Do Miami and Clemson both deserve then to be in the college football playoffs?
Oh, boy. You know what? Before yesterday, I would have said no, but yesterday was the perfect storm for Miami, the absolute perfect storm, with the turnovers, the breakaway plays, the interceptions run back for a touchdown. You couldn't ask for anything better. The algorithms or your whatever, they were totally on one opposite ends yesterday. I can't determine that because, oh boy, I would take Clemson over Miami. That much I will tell you.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, wait, Clemson lost to Syracuse.
Oh, without their quarterback.
Oy.
There's injuries matter.
There we go. Syracuse might have beat the national championships. We don't know. We'll find out.
I don't think that.
Hey, you don't know. Clemson could get there.
Clemson's not getting
Look,
there.
you got Brian, who came in with an ankle injury the week before, and then he gets knocked out with a concussion early in the game against Syracuse. So there are asterisks next to that as far as Clemson's concerned for favoritism being still involved in the college football playoff talk. They have one loss. It was a loss without their quarterback, and everyone's going, oh, okay. But with Kelly Bryant at the helm and healthy, that team was undefeated. And so if they go the rest of the way undefeated, they're absolutely going to be in the college football playoff.
Man, who appointed you like judge and czar of the NCAA football championships, Matty?
Well, they need someone who makes sense to be in charge because they sure as hell don't.
Well, that's true, too. But I want to tell you right now, without any doubt at all, that Auburn will win the national championship in football.
I'm not going to argue on that one right now. They're playing some great football. I talked to you about them earlier in the year with their big play ability and their ability to run the football. They are undefeated when they rush for over 200 yards. Yesterday, ran for over 200 yards. That stays true. And that defense, that front line, they're phenomenal. And they are going to give fits to everyone they face along the way. And there might be a rematch in the SEC championship game because Georgia's going on one end. We already know that. It's now going to be who goes from the other side. Which team from the state of Alabama is going to be facing them? Is it going to be Roll Tide or is it going to be War Eagle?
Lot to look forward to. All right, Matty B, we will check in with you next week. As always, my friend, have a great Sunday watching the NFL week number 10, and thanks for a stellar job as always.
My pleasure, Felix. WS Radio Nation, we'll talk to you next week. Enjoy the games. Go Lions!
Oh, he is too much, isn't he? Oh, wow. I want to tell you something. He never even mentioned when the Steelers beat the Lions 20-15 on Sunday night. Never mentioned it at all. You know, he had amnesia, Captain. I mean, this guy has amnesia. All of a sudden, he's a Miami guy. Catholics versus the convicts. Imagine that.